Alright, this demonstration is going to be how to disassemble your Wii to the point of replacing the laser drive, because most of the times you don't need, unless you brick your Wii, which the only way to unbrick it is use of a GameCube controller and some special mechanics. Most people need a disk drive replacement, so I'm going to get down to that point and show you where to go from there. Usually the laser does not need to be replaced because usually it's the entire daughter board that's failed, but the good thing about the Wiis is the daughter boards are interchangeable. Just kind of make sure you know which kind of Wii. Below is a website that you can go to, and you type in your Wii serial number and your model number, what type it is, and it'll tell you exactly what kind of drive you need to order. Now, drives are expensive. They can be anywhere from about $60 to $125 depending upon what model Wii you have. And lasers are inexpensive too if you want to just do a laser replacement if you think that's the problem. But right now I will show you how to get the disk drive out, and I will show you where to go to get the laser out. Unfortunately though, I cannot take the actual laser out of the system because this is not one of my demo systems. This is actually customer, so. Unfortunately I cannot take the laser out of the system because this system is a functioning one, and the laser in it is already good, and we don't want to risk damaging what we have right here, especially because it's my system. So I will show you as much as I can. Now, a couple things you want to know. One of the tools you're going to want to need, there's several tools that you're going to need, and one of the first ones you're going to need is a 3-winged screwdriver. They're very difficult to find, but they're very cheap. Alright, so don't be discouraged. You also need a Phillips to get some of these things out, but don't be discouraged about trying to find one of these. They're not that expensive. They're difficult to find, especially in stores. That's easiest to order these online. But now the hard part about these Wiis is keeping track of which screws go where. When you want to take the motherboard out, it gets extremely complex. Hopefully I'll have a video up sometime later on showing you how to put in a new motherboard, but for now this is just going to be a laser. Anyway, you want to start with the bottom here. There are several different places in the bottom. We're going to start by taking off this. This is where the battery is. This is the Phillips one, so you just unscrew it there. And then it should pull right out. There's a battery attached to this, so you'll notice then there's a 3-pronged screw there. Unscrew that. And you got to remember where these screws go. I've got a picture that you can link to that you can click that's got all the different screw types and where they go. Especially if you get confused and lost when you're putting things in. Normally in this one there is a white pad. You just take a flathead and lift it off there. And then unscrew this. Again though, if some of the screws don't get put in back at the exact same spot, it's not going to kill you. But for the most part, try to keep it where it's supposed to be. Anyways, you got 2 more white pieces down there, so you want to take a flathead and get down into them. Take them off. The Wii does not have any void stickers on them. I believe they use the means of these little white pieces, but they can fall off very easily, especially with time, so I'm not sure how they track if you've opened it or not. So, I mean, of course, if you've got a new case on there, they can tell it easily, but the Wii system itself, they might just track it on the internet or something. You want to also take off this piece down there. It's one of the little cushion pieces for the corners. And notice under each of these 3, there's another Phillips screw over here. And then there's another Phillips right down here. It's a little black one. That black one actually keeps the front faceplate in. Now, Wiis are the hardest system to take apart and put back together. They are the hardest systems to deal with. Even though they are the least advanced, Nintendo makes them hard as hell to get together. I mean, look at the N64 and look at the SNES with their, and the Game Boy and the games with all their weird-ass screws. that you gotta get those opposite torque screws to get them out, so. What was that noise? Whatever. Anyways, and we have another Y-wing screwed over here. And these two don't come off, so. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the feet. There are 4 covers down here, each one of them, no, I'm sorry. These 2 don't move, these 2 do. So kind of just get your flat head in between the rubber and the Wii and kind of lift them up. And down below inside there are the 3-pronged screws. So just kind of get at them. Once you get them out, then it's not these 2 feet that come off, but right next to it on the actual faceplate, there are 2 more white covers. So you want to lift up those. One on each end here. And then they each have actually a black Y-wing. They're the only 2 that got black Y-wing on them, so. Those are what keep the faceplate screwed in on the sides and stable. Again, there's charts and links to pictures to know where screws go where. And now we're going to take care of the top part up here. There are several small screws up here, so take your Phillips. Unscrew each of these. Those should all come off. By now you should be able to take the front faceplate off. It comes off like that, and then there's a wire down inside here. You want to take it off. It connects down in there. Inside, just kind of pull it very gently. It should come right off. There's your faceplate. And then this black part should pop right off. Now underneath here, there are 2 Phillips that are down here. The Phillips are down at the white part, the Y-wings are at the black part, so memorize that, remember that. If you're also wondering, there are Wii kits that you can get these, that comes with the screwdrivers and stuff like that. They're available on eBay and stuff. More expensive because they're labeled Wii kits, but you really want to know what you're getting. Now that you have everything unscrewed, you're going to want to take apart the system. And to do that, you just start by kind of doing that, but slowly. If this falls out, where this goes is, if you look inside, right down here, there's a vent. This black piece just kind of sits up on the vent there. It is loose, so that's okay. Now, we're down to this. Right here is your disk drive. This metal piece sits on here, and it should just pop right off. Now we have your disk drive. And as you can see, there's actually a game in this one. So, we'll be getting that game out in just a minute. Oh my God, my back hurts. Yeah. You should get a chair. Did you align it?
Huh?
Did you align it back? A little lower. Yeah.
Two? I felt that.
Yeah, a little much. Doing it. Yeah, a little higher. All right, I'm back. In order to get this out, this drive, it is a pain in the ass. There are 2 screws inside of these holes. In order to get them back in, you're going to need a magnetized Phillips. There's also 2 more screws here and here. So you're going to want to unscrew them. They get stuck, kind of shake them back and forth, get them out. Now we can lift up the system. And inside you'll notice right away that there is a cord and a cable. Pull out the cord and then pull it out from the motherboard. The daughter board, sorry. And then lift up that to pop with the cable. Again, don't need to replace the cables and the cord unless they're actually broken or torn. And now we have the drive. This is the daughter board. With a new drive that you get, it'll come with the laser, the daughter board, everything on it. If you get a drive and it's still not compatible, you gotta double check your numbers. Like I said, there's numbers, I showed you where the numbers were. You can also look on the board too, there's a couple of the numbers, like 3305, there's just to do with some of the lasers. You can check some of the numbers on the motherboard here. Also, on the website that is given, that talks about some of these numbers on here. So you can double check those numbers too if you do take apart your system. Now the laser is right here. How this comes apart is kind of difficult, but I will demonstrate to you how to get at it. I will not take this laser out, but you'll see what to do in order to get all of it out though anyways. There is a cable right here. Unlatch it, take it out. There's another cable that you kind of have to just pull out. There's no latch or anything. And then you would unlatch this. Might as well. So you unlatch this, and then you kind of pull up this little black part on it. And that comes off. Keep the black part on there because you're going to want to do that for this. And now there are 2 screws, one right here, and one right here. I'll do it again. One right here and one right here. You need to unscrew those, take them off, so that way you can move the daughter board around. So you can unhook the daughter board there, and it'll just be on these 2 bits, but it's okay, they can stay on there. Just kind of have it up Next part is, turn around, look inside, there's this metal piece. You want to take out that screw right away. And now you should be able to get at it. This is the fun part. Take a flat head, and on the sides of each of these, there is a little, like they're all hooked on. You need to get your Phillips in there and kind of lift them up over the little black piece that they're on. And there's 4 or 5 locations of them. I don't really count the 5th one because it's not a full latch, but got there, and then one that's right here next to that, nice little vise, and then this metallic piece should come up and off. Now your laser's inside here. You'll notice that there is a little place for it to slide in and out. You just make sure it's not connected to the black and slide it out, and then you can take this piece off. And now you can see the inside where the laser is. To get the laser out, there is a Phillips screw right there. Unscrew that. That is putting pressure on this little metal post that keeps this held in. And then you slide it out, kind of put your finger on it or get some tweezers in there and slide it out. Might take a minute to get it out, but it literally slides. It's kind of neat. And it comes right out, and then you should be able to just take your laser and pop it right up. There's a little mechanism up on the top of the laser, that's the little hook part. Then there's the white part down here. The white part should come with it when you order it. If it doesn't, it unscrews right there. You just screw in a new one. So, and to put it back in, because we're going to just put this one back in since it's still good, is you place the laser in there, you put this little black part on the side that still has the post, the metal post in it, and make sure the white goes on top of your gear. So both of the two should align. And then take the post you had that you took out, stick it back through, and take something and make sure it goes all the way in. And you should check inside there. There's a little hole in the back here that it should actually be going through. So when you have everything, make sure it goes through up here. Once it's in, take back that little screw that you had in the front there, and you want to screw it down. Now you need to reset your motherboard. Put everything back in, and you also need to put this back in. So first you're going to put this back. It kind of goes underneath, and you just slide in your laser like that, and then fit it back where it was before. It's kind of a little tricky to get it right aligned the first time, so be patient with it. And don't let any of the wires get underneath this too. I just got some wires under here. Don't let that happen. I'm just putting down the black right now, just to keep the laser. You want about this much out. But before you put the daughter board back on, you want to put back in that one screw that was located right here. Now, you gotta lift up the laser. If you put on the black like I did, you just gotta lift up the laser, put it around, and this gets kind of difficult because you need to know there are little latches here, here, and then over on this side. There's one underneath here. I'm sorry, there's no latches on this side. They just sit down. But you need to put the daughter board back in with this side. You see how this is leaning up like this? You need to put it on this side, leaning in, with all those, so that way it grabs those two hooks. Make sure all your cables aren't underneath, and then it should kind of snap down. Take your laser, put it back in up here. And you should not see any more of the contacts. When you put it back in, you should see no gold at all. So that's when you know you got it good. And then you can take the black, lift it up, and then wait till it's flat. So it lies flat here, and then put your black back down. Now, go ahead and take the two screws you had before that go here and here. Put them back on the board. Again, there's pictures that show you what screws are what. Now take the cables and place them back in where they belong. So that one snap back in here. And this one goes back in along there. And now you put together your drive. Put back on your drive, it's a little tricky. You want to start by putting in the cable, the ribbon cable first. Snapping that down. Then take your white cord and put it in on the top there. And now align the system in the holes. There's some spokes up here. We're gonna align the rubber. Some dust in this one. So gotta get that out. And then it should line in the front too. And make sure you have a magnetic Phillips to put the front two back in, because they can be a pain. Be very careful. If it drops in right away like that, like mine just did, go magnetize it some more and make sure it sits good. The one thing you don't want to do is don't hit it against anything as you're putting it down. The minute you do, it won't align on your Phillips and it'll go all haywire. So just take your time when you're putting it down. Don't let it hit anything. Very, very careful. And then you can get it. It's taken me a lot of practice to be able to do that. So, again, there's a diagram showing which screws are which, so you know where to go. And now, you have your drive back in. In order to test your drive, you have to plug back in the front, which there's a little plug that's right underneath the disk drive here that you could plug it back into. Once you've plugged that back in, then you could hook this up and hook up to the system, hook up your system and eject what you need to, and test out your laser and put back in something new. Other than that, that's the Wii for you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. Otherwise, check out my website, www.delsudragonproductions.com/videogamerepair, and thank you very much.